All right, everybody, welcome to the 22nd episode of the Michelle and Tony Show. I remain your humble host, Michelle, and I'm live here with.
Tony.
So, last week has been a very hectic week. It has been very jam-packed and stressful and all that. That's why we have been active. But I promise and I bet you from today henceforth, we are live every Wednesday and Saturday. So, this is the 22nd episode of the Michelle and Tony Show. And our humble and smart and forex trader host with us here with us today is going to be telling us the story of a very popular Egyptian, right?
Malian.
Malian.
Yeah, he was from Mali.
Okay, a very popular Malian called Mansa Musa, who apparently Tony, I don't know, is it that he inflated the whole fucking economy or what? But like, yeah, let's hear it from him. Let's hear what Tony has for us today and what he has to say.
Alright, basically, yeah, good day everyone. Like Mitchell said, last week we couldn't update because of, it was very crazy. We can't really expect things like that to happen, but things came up. So
Since
basically, so yeah, we'll try our best to be, consistent every on Saturdays. Yeah. Now, talking about Mansa Musa, he's actually Malian, right? He was basically the emperor of Mali Empire in like West Africa and stuff like that. So
the emperor of wait, sorry, what is Mali? Is Mali a country?
yeah, Mali is a country, my guy. It's the country. It's a country in Africa. In country in West Africa, it was I think it was
Is it where Malians probably waiting come from?
not Malian, like not Naira Mali gang,
Okay.
but there's a country called Mali,
Yeah.
and I think he was part of the colonies in upon the country of colonized by the French.
By France. Okay,
Yeah. So Mansa Musa the first basically was the emperor of Mali Empire in West Africa, and he's widely regarded as the richest man recorded in history. Right? Basically, he's estimated to be richer than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and whatever. Basically any country, any king from Europe or any king from
Like how rich
Asia.
are we talking about? Like billions
We're
of
talking about like almost trillions of dollars. Like
trillions.
yeah, we're talking about money that before like we're talking about trillions. We're talking about in the trillions. When we're talking about this 400 billion that Elon Musk just surpassed now, this guy is estimated to be a lot.
Fucking hell.
Right? Like basically, I think he was around that 1312 to 1337, right? That's like his lifespan basically, and then yeah, and he's just overestimated to be over,
The guy
billions
the
and
guy died
trillions.
young, 1312 to 1337.
Yeah,
That is not even up to 30 years.
I guess.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. No, that was like his reign. Not when he
Okay,
was.
his
Yeah,
reign.
that was like
Yeah,
the
makes more
reign.
sense.
Yeah,
His
that was
reign. Okay. Not
like
his
I
birth.
think that's when he was,
Yeah, in
in
throne.
power
Yeah.
basically. Bro, like first of all, you want to know about like his pilgrimage to Mecca. Like one of the famous things that he was known for was his pilgrimage to Mecca.
Yeah.
And like if you know, Mecca is in what's it called? Is in Egypt, right? So he was going to Mecca, right? He was going to
Yeah.
Mecca. I think Mecca is in like Saudi Arabia or something like that.
Yeah.
So he traveled with tens of thousands of soldiers, officials, and basically gold. And he was traveling with slaves, traveling with these people to Mecca, to give
On
arms.
foot.
No, like they were on foot. He was on a camel traveling and
Okay.
everything back in the days now. And then he carried hundreds of camels. Yes, he carried hundreds of camels and gold dust basically, and was going to Mecca to basically give alms because this like Muslim stuff. I
Yeah.
think Mecca is like their church, like the main.
Their headquarters church,
Yeah,
stuff
something like that.
that.
Yeah, I think it's in Saudi or something. Then on like his way from Mali to Mecca, he had to go through Egypt. So
Yeah.
he went to Egypt, Cairo, and then like just by going through Egypt, there was this like I think that was how the world economy was basically formed, right?
Yeah.
That was how the world economy was basically formed. He basically went through Cairo, and like there was a lot of problems. So around that period of time, like Egypt was going through a lot of crisis, and they were not as rich as there were problems basically, and the poverty was at its peak in that time.
Yeah.
So people were literally like he was just like going, and people were seeing him, people were asking for money, and this guy just money was like he was giving money was still falling, like gold was just like falling
Falling
down. He
down.
was giving out, and like there was a huge inflation
Fucking
in the
hell.
fucking country. I think one of the biggest inflation that's ever happened
Like
in
the
the
guy was
till
basically
date.
giving everybody,
Yes,
every
money.
beggar,
Yeah, every beggar that
gold.
literally passed it, and money was falling. Like it wasn't just giving, the money was spiked. Like it was that plenty that money was just literally falling, and like there was one of the biggest inflation
Fuck.
in the whole of Egypt till this day. And basically, his journey made Mali known to the world, especially in Europe and Middle East. Everybody basically knew this guy because
Yeah, I heard that thing. They say that
uh,
they now put that place on the map.
yeah,
The place now began to exist
yeah,
on the
on the
map
map
because of that
because of
stuff.
him, yeah,
Yeah.
because of his reign. Just how many years? 30 years of his reign, basically.
Yeah.
Within that
Lots of
30 years, he was able to basically bring Mali, not even Africa, just Mali to limelight. Everybody began to know the Mali Empire. I think it was one of the respected empires back in the days. Because of this guy, this Mansa Musa. That was the amount of wealth this guy was able to like amass. Like he was so wealthy. Like for you to be that wealthy and be able to inflate a fucking
a
country on
fucking.
his own, that's the wealth this guy was basically,
Why did the country inflate? Like, I mean, it doesn't mean that everybody getting rich in the country is bad.
yeah. Everybody
How?
getting rich in the country is bad because one thing about currency is meant to like be circulated, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's like that's how it's meant to be. It's like a currency meant to be flowing, like But then once it is too much,
yeah,
like in a sea, once the current is like too much, it becomes a disaster. I mean, you can have like tsunamis, you can have problems. You
yeah.
understand? So that's just the idea. You don't want too much current.
Okay.
Yeah, don't want too much current. So like basically, when there's too much current, is a problem.
Yeah.
When there's no current at all, it's a
There's a
problem.
problem.
So it just has to be kind of like balanced
Steady.
in
Yeah.
a way. So when is everybody's just basically rich, everybody's able to basically like get their hands on this particular product. The prices of things just keep on going up and up and up and up and up. There will just be a persistent increase in the prices of things.
Okay. To like, is it like a kind of defense mechanism on their part to like
Then
shove them away from getting
yeah,
some of
yeah,
those stuff?
and then the moment that those prices decay, those prices just like keep on growing. Your currency of that country just keeps on devaluing because it's a lot of money now in circulation.
Has this never happened in history except from this Mansa Musa time?
No, but like it's just normal inflation now in Nigeria. Like now in Nigeria, in 1980 something, 1981, 78 kobo
Yeah.
was equals to $1. Do you understand? 78 kobo
This kobo was equal to
to
$1.
$1. That's like basically 0.778 whatever
Naira,
naira.
naira, the naira
Naira
was
was
better
better
than the dollar.
than the dollar in 1981.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now the naira is 1,600 and dollar is one. $1 is 1,600 naira. So that's just basically inflation at its peak. And there are many more. Libya, I think
So
$1 is like a million.
what caused this persistent? Because I don't know. Maybe I always used to think that Nigeria is not good. Nigeria is bad, right?
Yeah.
That is why the economy is bad, and that is why the
Okay.
leaders are bad and things are bad.
First of
But
all,
like, can you give me like a practical
yeah,
picture of what actually
practical. I
happened?
can give you examples of why countries tend to devalue. Like money just tend to devalue.
Hmm.
The countries just tend to devalue. And one of the reasons is the countries basically like a structure. What kind of
Yeah.
structure that country operates in? For example, now if a country is imported, it's just import oriented. It consumes a lot,
Yes. Like Nigeria.
like Nigeria.
Yeah.
Everything good thing that is being produced, everything that we consume in Nigeria is being produced outside, right? We
Yeah.
import almost everything,
Everything
even this toothpick.
that you're using
Yeah, that I'm
now.
using now. We import it. That's how bad everything is, right? So once you are just import oriented, basically,
Yes, and
you
he has to do something with that thing. He told me that when you want to import a country's good, you
yeah
have to
you have
change
to
your
change your
your
currency,
your currency to their
to the
currency,
current.
increasing their own,
Not
and
even change their currency to their own currency. Just change to dollar.
to dollar. Okay, because dollar is
Dollar is the
the
world trading this
yeah
thing.
yeah
So
yeah
that's why you see dollar just keeps on like persisting. Dollar just keeps on having
yeah.
weight.
But why? Like, why can't other countries like say no? We want our own.
Because I think dollar. The reason why US is like the biggest economy, what the US does is the US has this big gold reserve, right?
Yeah.
It has this big gold reserve, and then people. And the thing is, you cannot store money. You can't store money because money is meant to be circulated, right?
Yes.
Once you have a lot of dollars, what do? You want to invest in something. You cannot keep your money in and your money just sitting around.
Yeah.
So what countries do? They basically borrow money to US.
They borrow their money to
Yes,
US.
they borrow their money. They give their money to US to invest it in their gold reserve. So US basically keeps the money for them. Do you
Okay.
understand? So now that country is basically investing in US, but US is now using that money to like as like a okay, like for example, now the US makes the US makes 6 billion in returns every year.
Every year.
1 billion is made from just tax revenue. Every single year, the US makes 6 billion in revenue. 1 billion is for tax
Yeah.
from tax. Do you understand? The remaining, I think, it's 6 trillion or something. 1 trillion is from tax, and the remaining is from where borrowed money borrowed from countries, right?
Yeah.
They bring it to their country, and that's how they basically just run and operate. Do you understand? So now I think it was a good thing. It's a good thing, but when it becomes too much, people just it tends to have like side effects, and that's one of the side effects that's currently happening in US now. You know,
Yeah.
so one of the causes why US economy is basically in the way it is right now, and
Yeah.
I think Donald Trump is doing everything possible he can to be able to create like an avenue where their US reserve is basically still strong, even if the currency basically like is what is it
Okay.
called
Okay.
for a meter. So what you basically Donald Trump is doing is meant to be is what it's meant to be. You know, so one of the smartest things and the most riskiest things in in the whole of US history. But yet, basically, US is just it's just basically like the front of the world, and the reason is because of the treaty that was basically made in one of the decisions that was basically taken in that 1947.
The Atlantic Charter.
No, not Atlantic Charter, not Atlantic Charter. The one that was held in Washington about when these guys were made IMF
Okay.
and IBRD, International Bank and World Bank. You understand when those two institutions were made,
Yeah.
basically making US the front the US currency basically the world trading
The World
currency.
Trade Fund.
You understand? So that's basically where everything started, and then every country that wanted to trade internationally had to basically turn it into dollar, and it affects the consuming country more because what the consuming country now has to buy is the one that is buying, right?
Yeah. Like
So
Nigeria.
like Nigeria, so it has to turn it into what the
Dollar.
dollar for it
Yeah.
to purchase that amount of
Shooting
goods.
their price up
Yeah,
and reducing our own value.
basically. So you see the problems that come from that.
So wait. Let's say now, if Nigeria starts doing more of export,
Yeah,
it won't help us.
it will.
But like they're not turning their currency to naira, they're
Okay, so
turning
now
their currency to dollar.
like I said, the money that US like the money now that we are trading basically,
Yeah.
right? The money we are trading now, what we have it in dollar, right? We choose to invest it into the US gold reserve.
Yes. Wait, sorry. Let me come again. The money you're trading
Yes,
is in dollars.
it's in dollars, right?
Yes.
So now that is basically growing the amount of money we have in dollar. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Then the more amount of money we're growing in dollar, basically we now put it
In gold reserve.
into that US
Okay.
gold reserve.
Yeah, I think if they on like I think gold is on the front of stock market page,
Yeah,
trading view.
yeah, trading
Yeah,
view, yeah.
there's the symbol for gold. Is it X something?
XAU,
XAU. Okay, that thing is good.
that's gold.
Okay, and you can buy into
Yeah, you
their
can buy
shares.
that is basically that's basically what countries do. That's
Yeah.
basically what countries do. And then another way to grow your country's currency is basically by producing and basically allowing local basically implementing policies that will basically help local industries,
Yeah. To
grow,
thrive. Yeah.
to try basically. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
one of the ways is by cutting off importation. That's just like most important way is just reducing
Yes,
importation.
so that the companies locally will
Yeah,
now have more
more, yeah.
audience to sell
Do you
to.
understand? And you
Yeah.
now sell more goods in naira. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So
I'm seeing.
like now, countries now are basically seeing what's it called these things, and then they're becoming self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And that's why you see countries that make it basically that their name is on the front foot are countries that are what's it called? Are basically their dollar their currencies are strong and
Yeah.
also
And then the
they're
industries
self-sufficient. Yeah,
in their nation are doing well.
exactly. Then one but the thing about the US is the US is the one that countries that borrows the most. Do you understand? But it's still the biggest economy in the world.
Hmm.
And the reason is because they just that treaty that they basically made in what's it called this IMF and IBRD, those institutions that
Yeah.
came into power, basically it is one of the biggest factor that helps the US economy to be where it is today. Do you understand? But that
Yeah.
thing, that IMF and IBRD, I don't want to go into details, but they are not basically they are very you know certain policies that are very very shady because before you have to if you want to borrow from what's it called
IMF.
IMF, you have to devalue your currency.
How? Like you have to reduce the value of your
You have to
currency.
reduce the value of your currency.
How do you go about that?
You're going to borrow dollars, so you are definitely going to reduce the value of your
Of your
currency.
currency, okay.
So definitely, like, and they make the countries that all these African countries to borrow money from
Yeah.
IMF. It's like they make it. They basically just sway them to always continue to borrow money from the IMFs and the
Yeah,
IBRDs.
making it look like it's in their best interest.
Yes, make it look like in their best interest, but in other words, it's certainly just a hindrance to the country's, you know, to the country's currency, and that's one problem that's contributed to Nigeria's problem. What's it called? Increase in inflation, increase in devaluation of currencies
Mm,
because they keep on
because we keep
borrowing,
borrowing.
borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing.
Okay, okay. Let me ask a question. You say that the world trading currency is dollar,
Yeah.
right? So like dollar going up or down, does it have more to do with USA than other countries, or more to do with other countries than USA?
Well, the the sideways is like more obviously more of US. Do you
More
understand?
of US,
But
right?
like everything that has to do with dollar, like that's why if the dollar is being affected, everybody's affected.
Yeah,
Most countries are affected. Do you understand?
yeah,
Because most countries trade with the US. And everybody that put their money, like I said, everybody that basically invest their money into the US economy
yeah.
will be hindered. Do you understand? So whenever the US economy is basically like
Going
down, dropping,
yeah,
you understand, countries are suffering.
countries and suffering.
That is why you might think, oh, the US are very smart people because they don't really have anything. Just they don't have like any way of producing what they want. So that's why they basically like import almost everything they use, right?
So wait, so what you're trying to say is that the value of dollar going down is not even beneficial to us.
It's not beneficial to anybody. It hinders to almost every country that trades with the US.
What the fuck?
Do you understand? Like the way I told you that IMF and IBRDs, those institutions basically what made US what it is today, making
Yeah,
their currency the world tradable currency, right?
because they were founded by US.
Yes,
Mm,
basically. In Washington DC. And then now every country that basically has a trading dollar reserve, dollar investment into the because I told you everybody could trade it USD, right? So the money you get in USD, you cannot use it in your country. Do you understand?
yes,
And you cannot turn it into your what's it
own
called
currency
currency. So what do? You now invest that's what's it called into
that
the
gold reserve.
US you gold reserve basically.
Yeah,
And
they're just playing this.
yes, right,
Yeah, this.
exactly. So you can't really like make your country the best unless you detach yourself from US. The moment you have like attachment towards US, you are going to be affected when US is basically maybe at war or there's problem in the economy or whatever. Do you understand?
Yeah. So like the value of dollar going down does not necessarily mean the value of naira will rise.
Yeah. The value of it doesn't no like see that's just the truth about
Okay,
go
because I've always thought that
okay if
like
naira goes up then
yeah, like
dollar
I've
will
always thought that
automatically
is one is going down, one is climbing and shit like that.
no but like one way the truth is if dollar goes down
Mm-hmm.
right it really doesn't affect the naira in terms of like the naira is not going to be affected. I don't know, like is it
Yeah,
just
it's
going to
not affected positively or
or
negatively.
negatively? Do you understand?
Right, okay.
So basically, because let's say for now, the US dollar now is one, right?
Yeah.
And then the naira is is 0.1. If the naira just keeps on going down and going down, the naira is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the dollar. But dollar is also very strong. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But the dollar is not going to be affected because of the naira is going down, going up. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's just like um you're not really affected by what is happening in US because like I don't know how to put it, but like you're not going to be affected by what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you're going to be you're not going to be affected. What the US is not going to be affected by what's happening in our country, but you're going to be affected
Affected with what is happening. Yeah.
because you have investment in US.
Which is that their good reserve.
Yes. Do you understand?
But like most everybody invests in that good reserve.
It's people that tend to invest in that place basically end up having some ties to do with US.
Okay.
Like now, for example, US is the leading economy with what's it called in tech.
Yeah.
Their economy is basically the best. And
The
everybody wants
best.
to invest in the best, right?
Yes.
Because there's money in the best. When you are seen as the best, there's money in the best. So countries want to invest in the
And the
US, and that's
best.
what the US basically has like a leverage on every other country.
Yeah.
So the moment you can't really like want to now be self-sufficient because of the IMF and the various policies that basically like you put your hand inside. So things like that is basically it's a cycle that basically the US is using to capitalize on different countries and still make themselves the best. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The only way to basically come out of this cycle of like going in circles
Yeah.
and still like creating this economy for US to being the best is when you start to produce on your own, right? You basically reduce your importation level. You are basically not
Yeah. Like
importing
you're cutting
anything,
ties with US in a way.
basically cutting ties with US. The money you are making, you are reinvesting it
In
into
your
your own country. You're
country.
not taking it out.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. You're just basically cutting ties with the US. From
Okay.
there, you're basically just growing your own country. Like for example, Kuwait, right?
Yeah.
Countries like Kuwait, countries like Switzerland, countries that are self-sufficient today, basically. And even those self-sufficient countries, basically, some of them really, sometimes they tend to have small ties still with the US. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But like that's just basically the most example I can give you
Okay. Okay.
when you're basically self-sufficient.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask about that Mansa Musa guy, right?
And China, basically.
Okay. And China.
Yeah.
I want to ask about that Mansa Musa guy. Okay. The guy. Okay. The guy made everybody in Egypt rich practically.
Basically, he made like not making everybody in
Everybody,
Egypt
but like a huge
a
percentage of it.
percentage. Yeah.
Right? So what that basically means is that countries need us to be poor for them to
Yeah.
survive.
Yeah. Yeah. So like yeah, I think you're not getting the point of why I still back on the fact that there's still something called modern day slavery.
Modern day slavery, episodes
Yeah.
fucking for.
Yeah. There's still something called modern day slavery, and it is just basically like the need for other countries to be less. And the most powerful places in the world right now is Africa. Do you understand? Africa is the most powerful economy. Do you understand? Because of Africa, if Africa today chooses to cut ties with Europe and cut ties with
Yeah.
those countries will fall. Those
But
states,
why don't we know this thing?
because at the end of the day, corruption is one of the biggest. It's just like
Oh,
where you put yourself, right? Where you
yeah.
put yourself. Do you understand? US and other European countries that basically put themselves in that like glamorous era, basically made us think that they are like the stages of the world, right?
Yeah.
That we need them, right? Basically, and then we now tend to feel like yes, we actually need these people,
Naturally
not knowing that these people are the ones that
need
need
us.
us. Do you understand? So look at this, for example, now in Nigeria, the reasons why we tend to have what's it called countries like we tend to have bad government. And one of the biggest things is corruption, basically. When they tend to US tend to put the person in charge, right? They have that person in charge
Mhm.
so that person basically doesn't do anything for the economy. The economy becomes bad. Then they put themselves in that area of the world. Come study abroad. Come do this one. Work free. This one that,
But they actually,
that one
but
that.
like they actually need that thing to grow,
Yes,
not the other way around. They
yes.
don't even give a shit about it. They just need it for the economy.
Yeah, for the exactly to put them into the economy basically. Do you understand?
Yeah,
So then people tend to see that because our country is not doing well, right? Our country is not basically our economy is not good and it's not a good place for study,
yeah,
a
all
good
those
place,
things.
all those things. People now tend to flee the country.
So like even going to America is never the best advice.
It's not going to America is not the best advice. Do you understand? So now people like Donald Trump now have started seeing that because I told you that everything that has like a good side has its own downside. Now people are now fleeing into the amount of people that are fleeing into America are not regulated. Do you
Yeah,
understand? Which is now basically causing hindrances to the economy of US. You have more people working but less people paying tax.
they have more
More
people
people working
working,
but
but less
less
people paying that
paying
because
tax.
okay, let me because of that thing you said that time that it's not everybody
Yeah.
that is now registered under US name.
Yes, exactly.
So they, okay,
So
some people
now,
are basically working. Some
yeah,
people okay,
and
that's why Trump was doing that stuff about
yeah,
go back to your
go back to
country.
your country. Do you understand now?
Yeah. So the guy is not actually a demon like people make it seem
Exactly.
like.
So it's not Trump is not actually a demon. Trump is just trying to help his own country.
Yeah, the guy is just trying to help his own coin. It makes
So,
sense. It makes sense.
like now, people are now start to see that okay, but people are saying that oh Trump is this, Trump is that, but just to like bring him down because they don't like Trump, and are using the idea of his racist and all these things like that to basically sway people's minds. But Trump is actually just helping his own country and basically
Mm.
telling other countries that guy. You want to come to my
Like you want
country
and destroy my
and
country
destroy my
while
country.
your own country. No, no,
Exactly.
no, no.
Go and help. You want to
Yeah,
go and help your
you
own
can't help your
country,
own country.
basically.
Yeah.
So that's just basically what Trump is doing in the whole fucking terms. He's just doing that. Go help your fucking country. And then now people are coming back, but then you still have these leaders in power, basically, and those leaders are looking now. They're looking for who is like the next, who he wants to basically like um, who they will collect money from now,
Yeah.
to continue that basically that cycle basically.
Yeah.
Now you have France still looking behind because no matter you see France as this peaceful country, France is one of the most dangerous countries in the world, right? They,
Wow.
they, they tend to put themselves as peace and you see that whenever war starts, they're always in the background. They're never like always showing up.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
always
yeah,
like,
yeah.
would support, we'll do this, we'll do that, but they never like end up because they're like this peaceful country. What is France known for? Love, right?
Love, yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah.
So they don't want to show like what's it called? This idea of like we are war, we are this, we are that,
Yeah,
but they're one of the most dangerous countries because they're always in the background.
yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
And what they do in the background is they basically continue till now France is one of the countries that still operates modern day slavery. Do you understand? In countries like just recently,
Burkina
Burkina
Faso.
Faso had
Yeah,
to, basically send back these French troops back to where they came from. In Mali, in various countries, a lot of countries that the countries I think there were about 3 or 2 countries that had this coup d'etat
yeah,
just like last year or 2 years ago. And the reasons was because they saw that these people were still operating in that way, and they had to just take power into their own hands, and that's why the military government took over and sent the French back to where they came from. What they do is they establish military base in that country,
mm-hmm.
and then that military base is just more of like a political, what's it called? Like it's a more of like a military, it's like a political, how do I put it? Like a political, it has a political agenda basically.
Yeah. Okay, like it's military based, but like
Yeah,
it's under the political arm.
yeah, and then, like basically the reasons why they're there is to just be able to watch over like to see what the economy is doing, basically dictate what it is, and that's why they end up putting their persons there, putting their people.
So like in essence, they are not even there for the world. They just want to take over the fucking
They
country.
want to be in control, basically. Do you understand, of these countries, and that's what they've been doing secretly for a long time.
Like why? Is it power? Is it natural resources? Is it
Natural resources, because these countries have resources of like if I tell you if Africa today wanted to take over the whole world,
mm,
like they can. They are basically the heart of the world. They're basically the heart of the world. I told you about the next fucking crypto fork. Like the next crypto fork is water.
Water.
And
Yeah.
in Congo has the biggest what's it called water reserve like that, something like that in the fucking world.
Like
If
basically have
yeah,
everything
we have everything. You know, if Nigeria wanted to be self-sufficient today,
we can.
we will like there's no we can we will be self-sufficient. Like there's nothing like we having any fucking ties with any fucking country because everything that we are importing can be produced in this country.
Yeah.
Imagine this in this fucking Nigeria, you have oil, right?
Yeah.
And then oil has to be refined and you can get petroleum and then what Nigerian do is they sell oil for a lower price to US. US refine it and send it back to us for a higher price. Do you understand?
Well, are we do like
That's just what they've been doing since.
why? Like why,
Because
man?
of the fucking corruption. The leaders are gaining, there is corruption. The leaders are gaining what their own commission, basically gaining their own thing by being the fucking
But isn't
president.
there more to gain?
Like,
Like selling it at the normal jacked up price,
mm,
right? And then maybe US, so I don't know, US fucking fuck up. Like we sell it not at lower price to them, but we sell it at a
I told you that these people had an agreement, obviously have an agreement to put these persons in power. Okay, look at, for example, the time of Donald Trump, so the time of Goodluck Jonathan.
mm,
Nigeria was basically seen to be in the next 15 years one of the biggest
biggest
economy.
fucking economy.
Do you understand? $80 trillion economy in by 2027 or 2025. $1 trillion economy. That's what Nigeria was estimated to be around $1 trillion economy. Right? Now we are I think around our GDP is around 200 and something. 3 years ago was 500 and something.
Billion,
Yeah, billion. 500 and something billion. Now it's around 200 and something
something
billion.
billion.
So now we're looking before we used to be we used to be the first the highest economy in Africa, but like now I think we're like around the fourth or third. I think Egypt or Ghana or South Africa. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really see. But you have Nigeria now basically doing these things, importing, just becoming import oriented. During the time of Goodluck, we were basically producing. In as much as the economy was still bad, it wasn't that good, but we were better than what
Yeah.
we are now. So you now had the what's it called, the bandits come out to play.
Is
That's
it Boko Haram?
Boko Haram. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, we just had insecurity in the fucking country, and then you had US using that as leverage to take out what's it called, Goodluck Jonathan. The reason why that was because Goodluck Jonathan didn't agree to do the terms US wanted, and at that time it was Barack Obama that was the president of this country.
Of USA.
Yes. So Barack Obama had like certain things that he wanted to do.
Like that LGBTQ stuff.
LGBTQ was one of them. He wanted to bring it into the fucking country. He wanted to. There were a lot of things that he wanted to do with Nigeria, but then the global Jonathan wasn't going to allow certain things to occur in his country. And so all of a sudden you have Boko Haram heavily
Yeah, bombing
like
places.
they were basically like that time they were basically there was this plan to build like this gas refinery basically. I think it was going to be one of the biggest gas refineries in Africa. Goodluck Jonathan wanted to do in his
Yeah.
second tenure. Do you understand? So Goodluck Jonathan wanted to change the constitution. That's one of the biggest problems in Africa, in Nigeria today. The 1999 constitution. He wanted to change it in his next tenure. So he was waiting for the next tenure to come, and these ideas were basically going to take Nigeria to
Yeah,
higher levels.
yeah, next like
So they saw it and were like, this person cannot continue because if you want to basically like control, these kind of people cannot continue. So we have to put our persons there. So you now had Buhari and the rest, the APC. Basically, a new party was now formed. APC wasn't there before, so
okay, APC is actually a new party.
APC was a new party at that time. PDP was like one of the first, one of the parties in this
Nigeria.
no, not Nigeria, in this constitution, this new
Okay.
constitution. So this fourth constitution. So PDP was on a what is it called. Then you now had a Grand Alliance, something, something, sure. But then APC was now formed newly. Just take out what is it called. I think APC was formed from three different parties. So you now had Buhari as the forefront to take out what is it called.
The good luck, Jonathan.
And the reason why Buhari won was one of the reasons was because during the time of Buhari, 78 naira was equals to
One kobo.
78
So
kobo
7 kobo, one
was
dollar.
equals to $1. So people saw that during that time, in as much as it was military era,
Yeah.
Buhari was one of the most no nonsense but
Okay.
working
Okay,
economy.
yeah, so they now trusted the idiots that like he will like
Basically,
actually bounce us back.
yeah, that was the idea.
That was
Basically,
the
they used
idea.
Buhari as like like he's the man. He's the man for the job. And then they started telling us that good luck, every done as the economy is bad, insecurity everywhere. There were a lot of things that were cooking up about him. Just to basically take him out. And
Just to
then you now
basically take
had
him out.
Boko Haram basically who
Yeah.
was sponsoring this guy. People were carrying fucking
And then
guns
where the
down.
hell are they now?
They're very much operating. The reasons why they're operating now is because these people were not compensated for their works. So you now see them terrorizing the fucking
Okay.
Nigeria. Do you understand?
They were not compensated for their work. Now
Yeah,
they are
they are now basically like terrorizing this country, Nigeria. So you now have them basically just messing around in the north. Do you
yeah.
understand? So these are the kind of things that we are now suffering from that what's it called?
Yeah,
And
from
US
that
don't
stuff.
even want to have anything to do with
Yeah, their job is over, so
their job.
they
What
just
they've done
bounced
is
and
just
left.
basically gone and they're basically gaining from it. Do you understand? So all these big countries, they don't want Africa to get to that level because they
They
need
don't
Africa to
actually
survive.
want us
Yeah,
okay, let me just give you like that green decade thing I was talking about now. Let's say eventually let's say I start it now. Like
you can't.
so
I'm telling
so like USA itself like will try to stop it.
you, definitely.
Okay.
Like, do you know Muammar Gaddafi?
Mama Gaddafi.
Have you heard of Libya? Have you heard of like you know heard of the history about Libya?
No, I've never heard of it.
So Muammar Gaddafi was this dictator in Africa. Right? He was
A
running this.
woman,
No, he's a man
a
in
man.
Libya. I don't know. You're not heard of the history of Libya, like Libya's system.
No, I've never heard of it.
Muammar Gaddafi was a dictator. He was president of Libya, right? But
Yeah,
he was a dictator. I think he was a communist this time, right?
yeah,
And the US are totally against communism because they're capitalist states. Right? They believe in like private economy, private equities owning things,
yeah,
freedom or
yeah, all
basically.
that stuff.
But then capitalists basically have like their own problems because it's unequal distribution of like
Yeah, the
wealth.
poor get poorer, rich get
Yes,
richer.
exactly. So communists basically they believe in equality.
Yeah,
Do
everybody
you
should
understand?
own in
Everybody,
general,
yeah.
no high, no low,
But
no class.
they are totally against it because in communists basically rights are basically like stepped on. People tend to be like you can't really do much.
Yeah,
Like your rights are basically being trampled upon. That's what communist is basically not a good thing. In as much as the idea is good, it basically has like hindrances basically to communism.
mm-hmm.
And so communists, like for example, communist states is China. You see how regulated their country is. Exactly. It's too
Okay,
regulated.
I get what you're saying.
So
Too
yeah,
regulated, like
that's the idea
yeah,
of communism. So people don't
yeah.
really have
The system
sees.
is fucking tight.
Yes, people don't really have sees in communist states, right? That was how Muammar Gaddafi basically was. Not like he was, but like that was how like that was the idea of communism that US basically put. So Muammar Gaddafi was basically his economy was one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like in before 2013, yeah, before 2013, Libya was economy was growing. They were doing well, self-sufficient. They were producing things by themselves. They were literally like prosperous. Basically, the country was doing well, but they was going against the fucking US. Like I said, they were prosperous, and if you want to be prosperous in Africa, you have to be aligned with certain things that the US want to do. And when you go against US, problems start to, you know. So the US now basically made it feel like this guy is a communist. These are the things that he's doing. He's a bad person. This, that, this, that. So there was a riot in fucking Libya. To this day, Libya can't even produce. Libya is one of the worst.
Why?
Like country is like $1 is equal to like almost 100,000 Libya whatever currency. Like Libya is basically like the economy is bad. It's shambles. I think one of the worst economies in Africa. But then you had before 2013, you had their country basically like prosperous.
Yes,
Women like that be doing well.
it was prosperous.
Basically,
Yeah.
you now had US coming. Have you heard of there's a movie called 13 Hours in Benghazi? Go and watch it. Like basically US had they had to come in, feel like I think they wanted peace, they wanted to build peace, they now fought them, kind of trying to like basically
Yeah, US is just they're just so smart and devilish.
yes, they are
That's
very, very tactical, devilish smart,
yeah.
and like they did it at the point where look at okay, I told you about colonialism. Man. One of the,
Wait, sorry. Before you go, like,
yeah.
what exactly did US do to Libya? Like,
So like from my understanding from what it was basically like they just made it. You know, like how I told you that good local Belgium was working. They just
yeah,
basically put things together to try to make it look like he's not good. Do you understand?
yeah,
People of Libya understood that Muammar Gaddafi was working. So they were totally against what the US were basically saying. But then you had what's it called? You had what's it called? One of the ways these countries tend to do is to sponsor all these like merchants, all these tyrants, all these like terrorist groups
yeah.
to basically prove. And because one of the biggest things in the world is like one of the biggest things that governments are basically against trying to fight is insecurity. So the moment of insecurity basically rises in a country, your government is basically that people are basically looking at your government and saying, "Are you sure this government is
Oh,
sure this government is good?" Oh, no. So like now you now see like this kind of things, problems, insecurity. Like I said, once your country's terrorist group, people are looking at the country. I'm like, yeah, this government.
okay. So what happened in Libya? They brought a terrorist group, something like that. Like they
Yes,
started bringing insecurity in the country.
yes, that's one of the ways people portraying Muammar Gaddafi as a bad person because he's a communist.
Yeah,
Do you understand? So you now look at US basically telling these people, yo, your country is not good. What do you expect other countries to do? Look at your country and be like, oh, your country is not good. Oh, this is not good. Oh, there's a problem going on here. Oh,
then
this.
they'll be like, let us come and solve it.
Yeah, so basically the problem now in Libya now, everybody now believes the problem now in Libya. Do you understand? So now you now have things now, everybody is now basically against that government. So you now
Yeah,
have to take out that government. I think he was killed or something. I don't know. I think he was killed. My mother was killed.
like,
So you know, basically now Libya is one of the worst places to be. You can't even invest in that country because there's nothing to invest in. It's as bad as it is, and I think $1 is equals to $1 million. I don't know, million something of their currency is bad. Yeah.
fuck.
So
Like,
that's how the kind of things that you see US do. But then they portray themselves to be that
yeah,
exactly
that good guy,
because
fucking
it's
hells.
just they want to be world power. That's why they're against China. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Against China, they want to be world power. They want to basically be the best. Because US don't have anything. They don't have
they just have
anything.
brains.
They just have brains, and that's what basically is basically helping them. They were basically what they did was they were able to leverage on things, especially that World War II, right? What they did was they fought for World War, fought against colonialism. Basically, when they won, you now have countries basically detaching themselves because of the treaty that was basically passed on during the world WTA, IMF,
Yeah, IG, IBIG,
then you had like the world what's that thing again?
World Health Organization.
No World Health. That fundamental human rights,
Okay,
those
yeah,
things they're basically
that
coming
stuff.
up in
Yeah,
that during that in
UNICEF, something
1943.
about UNICEF.
Yeah, there's something about something in 1943, 1941. I don't know when the rights was basically being passed on, rights, life, and all
Yeah,
those things. So you have those during that period, US was basically like the front runner, Roosevelt and the rest. So you now basically, I see Roosevelt, was it Roosevelt? So US basically were like the front head because they fought in the war and they basically were the ones that I think destroyed Japan and everything. So they basically made themselves like global. Basically, everybody now knew US as fighter of the world. You understand?
yeah,
So basically now US is now known for peace and everything. So they basically now leverage on that thing. So that for me, what I just see was basically they fought against colonizers just for them to be able to colonize every other person. Do you understand?
how?
Do you understand?
Oh
So
God.
they now created like, and then one of the ways you can actually do that is not you cannot really, like I said, you cannot now start to do it an illegal way because now they made criminalizing basically illegal. You cannot,
Yeah, you cannot come and now do it. So they have to
yeah,
do it in a
illegal way
legalized, legal way.
by basically creating institutions like the IMF and
Yeah,
the IBRD and all
yeah.
those certain these things so to make it look like we're doing.
Oh God, oh
So you
God,
see
oh
the
God.
idea now they basically they were just smart enough to leverage on those things
Yeah,
that basically happen in your country
but like,
and
today, there are countries. I wouldn't say they can stand side by side with US, but like what US used to like senior them is not that much.
like
Countries like
France.
Russia.
Okay, countries like Russia.
Let's use Russia
Okay,
exactly. Like there's this kind of, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, so like I think there's this kind of like enmity, like they are
No,
not.
no, there's no enmity. There's no enmity. Like Russia is a country. See, Russia, US, and England
Yeah.
are the only countries that can produce nuclear weapons.
Why?
I still don't understand why. But like they just basically made themselves
With nuclear weapons is like all this atomic bomb stuff.
all these like nuclear weapons. All these, when they call like nukes are basically normal bombs, just normal bombs. They cannot bomb boom. But nuclear weapons can literally like destroy the fucking
Yeah.
example is like atomic bomb,
Atomic bomb.
hydrogen bomb,
Yeah.
all those bomb. They can literally destroy a fucking like they can wipe out a whole country. That's how nukes are. Like they are very, very bad. So you can't really you don't want to go to war with countries that have nukes.
God, what the fuck?
Exactly.
God.
So now Russia, England, and US are the only three countries that can produce nukes, I think.
Yeah.
And then that's why Iran that is why Iran, so when Iran basically created nukes, the idea of Iran basically creating secret nukes came about.
Iran was creating secret nukes.
Yes, that was yes. That's why saw Israel bombing them. So I'll get to that whole point. So these three countries are the only countries that can produce nukes. That is Israel. That is US, England, and what is it called? Russia, right? And
Mm-hmm.
three countries. But Russia is not against the US. They are friends. They have close ties.
Yeah.
The reason why Russia was basically is fighting what's it called Ukraine is because all of them were basically under USSR, right?
Mm.
When they were basically under USSR, and during the time when they were all basically under USSR, Russia was basically creating like nukes and they were basically putting it in Ukraine because everybody was together. So Ukraine was just basically like a subdivision of Russia. Do you understand?
Ukraine was a subdivision of Russia.
Basically like
Okay,
USSR
Russia
now.
was creating nukes and was keeping it in Ukraine.
Ukraine. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because they were all in this. They were in USSR. Have you heard of USSR?
Yeah, yeah, that
They
USSR
were
stuff.
all together. Like it was just one country. The idea was
Yeah, yeah,
there
was
was
one.
just one country. There was no division.
But Ukraine
But
cannot touch the nukes without Russia's permission.
Ukraine was like Ukraine was like a state. Do you understand?
Oh, fucking
Do you
shit.
understand? Ukraine was a state in Russia. So Russia was creating what's it called nukes and putting it into Ukraine. Then how when they now basically detached each other, they were not like because of it was only USSR, England and US that could create nukes. No, the have you heard of NATO? That's the
NATO, yeah, yeah,
North
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Atlantic
North
Treaty,
Atlantic Treaty Organization.
whatever. So that those people now to come together, they now be like make a piece that you can. These are the three countries that can only produce nukes and everything. The powerhouse of the world, basically. Other countries cannot produce nukes for the safety of everybody.
Yeah, for the safety,
Yeah,
so-called
yeah, so
safety.
safety.
Yeah.
You understand? So now you now have Israel producing nukes, but everybody knows Israel is producing nukes, but nobody's saying anything. Why? Because US and Israel have close ties.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you have Israel producing nukes. Everybody knows Israel is producing nukes.
Or is it the thing about Israel basically being like untouchable? Like
Israel is like a poster child of in Asia.
poster child.
Israel was able to create ties
Mm-hmm.
with countries, US, France, the big world leaders.
Mm.
Do you understand? Now that's what they want to do with Saudi Arabia. US wants to also create ties with Saudi Arabia. But they could not create ties with Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, all these like countries.
So the Israel-Iran stuff is Israel's fault.
Eh?
The Israel-Iran
It's not
stuff.
Israel's fault. Like I'll get to that part.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one is more
just
that
yeah,
one
yeah. That was more
so that one is from the
complex.
Bible. But like we'll get to that part. Then you have like what's it called? Countries that are against the US. Just only against the US because the US is like they want to control. Do you understand? But these countries now are totally against the US. Totally against the US. And so whenever the US wants to do like a regime change, because it's a regime stuff, like
Yeah.
it's because of the political movement in that country. That's why they're basically against so US now want to do like have you ever watched like all these military movies and you now hear Afghanistan war, the people going to Afghanistan, fight
Yeah,
Tali.
yeah, yeah.
It is because they went to Afghanistan because they wanted to change the regime. The regime was solely against the US, Taliban and everything. Taliban basically took over and
Okay,
then
Afghanistan's like their own constitution was against US, something like that.
no, like it was you know all these Islamic people now they
Yeah, they
come
have their
in.
own.
Yeah, so they're basically just against the US. They don't like want to have
Yeah,
anything to do with the US. So the US now goes to their countries and fight war for them because Taliban are like terrorists. They're also
yeah. Okay,
terrorists
okay,
somehow,
okay, okay.
and they take over the country. They take over the political aspect of the country. So they now
From helping them to fight war,
yeah
they will now take over
they will now like change the whole regime. You know, put in people that will now basically see as helping
the nation.
their nation. Do you understand?
Yeah,
But like at the end of the day, it's just for them to create ties with the Middle East, and be gaining
yeah.
whatever.
Does it have anything to do with Afghanistan's like that stuff I was hearing about Afghanistan? Like they're practically dying. Is it Afghanistan or Ukraine?
What do you mean?
There's a country that is like they're practically dying, like bombs, terrorists, all these things.
Is it?
Like,
I think it should be Ukraine now because
okay, it should be Ukraine.
currently Ukraine is
Okay, yeah, it's Ukraine, right?
like I don't know. Both of them are probably dying at the end of the day because like
Yeah,
there's always war in this country. But like the idea is just most of these what's it called Arabian countries they have like problems like regime because of their regime is all these like terrorists
Wait,
basically.
but well, like these countries that only have the right to produce all these nuclear weapons now,
Yeah,
Russia, USA,
England.
and England now, have they ever used it?
No, that's why they can't use it.
They can't use it.
They can use it, but they will not use it because of like the safety of the world.
Wait, so it means that like no, actually look at this thing from a new perspective now. Like it's just like a fear mechanism. Because
Yes, it's just
you don't actually bomb the whole fucking country, guy.
so the idea of that is just to like put fear in countries. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Put fear in countries. So before you do anything, just know that there are countries where that can actually just take you out in one go.
Congo.
Do you understand? Just to basically create
But like they won't actually do it. Someone should dare these countries,
they
guy.
won't do it.
They won't do it.
They can, but they will not
They
do
won't
it.
do it, guy.
Definitely.
Do you know what it means to take out a full country? Like, no, guy, you're not basically a villain. Like,
Exactly. So that's why people fear US, Russia, and that's why people cannot go to war with Russia. You cannot be against Russia unless you're US. So like before you do anything, just have sense. Basically, that's why Ukraine can't do anything. Ukraine. So basically now Ukraine now basically sold out. That's one of the dumbest things they did. That's why Russia can now easily attack them and nothing can actually do anything. Nothing can do them anything.
Ukraine did what did?
I told you that when USSR was together.
Yeah, like Ukraine is like a state in Russia.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they were creating nukes in Ukraine. So when there was like the USSR was what's it called basically like there were countries that were now basically separated from the USSR in 1990,
Yeah.
1990 something. You now had countries like Ukraine still having nukes. So they now went back to that treaty that they made that only Russia this and this that have. So they now basically have to take their nukes back to Russia.
Okay.
But you now had like there was now also like when they were separating, there was a agreement with US that certain countries cannot have certain rights or something in NATO or something like that. Then countries are now going against that right, what's it called agreement with Russia concerning what's it called countries that came out of the USSR. Do you
Yeah.
understand? So because of that, the first government, I think you had people sticking to their words. Certain presidents of the US sticking to their words. Then you now had Barack Obama going against it.
What he said.
What the agreement was. Trying
Yeah.
to bring Ukraine into NATO or something like that. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't know what the agreement was, but I know that there was an agreement that the US basically made to Russia, and how countries going against it. Then when Donald Trump now came back in his first term as the 45th president, he basically stuck to that agreement. That's why him and Putin have like a close relationship.
Okay.
Then Donald Trump now left. Then you now had this fool that came to power,
Joe Biden.
and went against the agreement. That's when the war now basically came about. So they were now basically attacking Ukraine. So Ukraine will not be able to Ukraine will now want to cease from being part of that team that Russia was against.
Wait. America wanted to attack Ukraine.
No, the idea was there was an agreement between Russia and US concerning the states that left USSR.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do certain things. But
Then
then when these two persons that just called now came into power, they were basically going against
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. They were basically no, they were basically going against the agreement that US and Russia had.
Okay, Joe Biden was the one that was doing it.
Yes, it was basically going against it.
But what exactly did he do to go against it?
I don't really know the agreement they had,
Okay,
but I know
okay,
that there
okay.
was an
It was
agreement
an
between the
agreement,
two countries.
and Joe Biden went against it.
Yes, you understand?
So Russia now did what in
Russia now basically
retaliation?
in retaliation they had to now attack Zelensky's people, that's Ukraine, so that Ukraine will have to back out from the thing that they were about to do.
Yeah,
Do you understand? Ukraine was about to do something that was going against the agreement that Russia had with US.
with US.
So now, because of that, Ukraine, they're not attacking Ukraine because they cannot attack US. They're
Okay,
not attacking Ukraine, so Ukraine will back out.
okay,
Do you understand?
yeah.
So that is basically what they are
And
doing.
like when I was seeing the news and everything, like it was not just like a small attack. Like
Yeah,
the fucking nuked that country, guy. Like
no, they're not looking the
I
country.
know they're
They're
not
just
nuking, but
basically
like the way
bombing.
bombing, all
Yeah,
these things, like
they're not bombing to kill people. They're bombing to make you understand that you need to back out. It's like a retaliation to what the agreement did to a basically like an agreement that was um breached. Do you
to
understand?
breach an agreement.
So what Donald Trump is not trying to do now is trying to like make them come to. He's making Zelensky. He wants Zelensky to now basically go back and be like,
Who is this Zelensky a
Zelensky is
person
president of Ukraine.
of Ukraine?
So
Okay,
he's telling Zelensky to go back to Russia and create what's it called?
that alliance.
Yes, to basically have an agreement. You
Okay,
understand? Go back on the
like to become a subnation in Russia,
no,
something
not
like.
to become a subnation, but to go back to the agreement that they had,
Okay, okay,
right? So that was basically what it is.
okay. Well, like if you were to say two countries now that are in enmity, to be China and USA,
Yes,
why exactly? Like, what is
because
the major
China
part?
wants to be the China is already the best economy in the world,
Mm,
basically. Low key best economy because they made use of like small like how do
is
I put
that
this?
microprocessor
No, not
thing?
even that, but like that was one of the greatest things they've done.
Yeah,
Right? But like it's just they made use of like the small money.
yeah,
They basically made what's called revamp their country and make it better.
yeah, yeah.
So they're basically at the forefront. You know, they save a lot. You know, they think about the future. They don't just spend and spend and spend and borrow and borrow and borrow. They're kind of self-sufficient. They sell anything and everything.
Yeah, and they have a very nice stories side.
Do you
Yeah,
understand? So like, and they're well advanced in tech. So
yeah.
they're basically taking advantage of the growing things. You know, looking at the future. You know, because they're looking at the past history of how the Hiroshima and everything. I think in
Mm,
Japan, they're looking at things like that could happen. So they're now creating like reserves that will be able to cater for those kind of things in case those kind of things happen. So they have a lot of money saved up for the future. So they're not just talking about the now, talking about the future, investing in tech, investing in all these things, right?
yeah,
And they were able to do it with like small money.
money.
Do you understand? So now they're basically around that level of US economy.
Yeah, so US is not trying to bring them down in a way.
Yes, do you understand?
Yeah, that's why Trump started doing that
Trade
stupid
trade
trade
war.
tariff stuff.
Yeah, trade war. Basically, now a trade war
Yeah, but like
between
when I looked into that thing, I saw that I forgot what I actually found out, but I saw that no side was actually
Rome.
to blame. Yeah, something like that.
Mm.
But the thing that what I knew is that these two countries now are fighting, Trump and the president
So like
of China.
basically what it was that one of the biggest things was during Joe Biden. Joe Biden made the US economy look like a shit, like look like shit. Do you
Yeah,
understand? It was not a good area for it, but there was high inflation in the country. So a lot of companies left to go and
US
produce
in another
somewhere
country.
else. And
Wow.
I guess like that time, China was a very good investment place. So China basically opened doors to companies to come and invest in us.
Yeah,
So companies are now creating their own. Basically, companies that left US have created, you know, US companies basically left US to go and create their own produce
products elsewhere.
elsewhere in China,
Yeah,
right? So they were making money there. China was basically booming. Investment was like people that invested in China were basically seeking what's it called. Now, what Donald Trump wants is Donald Trump wants his country. He wants those companies to come back to the
the
US.
US.
Do you understand? So now he now puts the tariff
Okay. On China.
on China.
About 145
Yeah,
40%.
so now he increased the tariff so that countries will find it hard to transport to industry to what's it called
Yeah.
basically be able to import their
Sorry, in case anybody listening to this and don't know, like, what is a tariff actually?
tariff is like tax based on importation of goods.
Okay, tax
So
based on
before you
importation
want to
of goods.
import goods from China now,
Yeah,
you have to spend a lot.
yeah.
Do you understand?
Okay, okay, okay.
So people that produce in China that
Yeah.
will now before they were producing in China and exporting it from China to England to the US and importing it at a very lower, cheaper rate.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That was before, and the country was basically that was one of the hindrances to
Yeah.
US. So Donald Trump saw this and I said, okay, no, this can continue. Increase the tariff.
He shot the thing up. He didn't
Yes, he's
even like
just increased the tariff on goods being imported from what's it called China into
China
the
to
US,
US.
so that the companies will come back to produce now in China. Will
Yeah.
not
And then China now retaliated 125% tariff
exactly
on
on
US.
US. So that was basically the idea, but now they've basically come to like an agreement. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So they reduce their tariffs and everything. But like that's just basically one of the reasons because they want check just US basically just wants to gain back that presence and bring back the companies that left. That's also one of the things they wanted to do to bring back the what's it
Countries that
called
left
that left to
because
come back.
of Biden.
Let's go Biden.
A lot of people like this guy Robert Kills, the same Robert Kills, so Robert Kills, like insulting that guy. The guy actually destroyed USC.
Exactly. So now you see that Donald Trump is not just Donald Trump is not a bad person. He just Donald Trump
Yeah,
just
he's
wants
just a
to
tough leader. Yeah,
yes, Donald Trump just one person now. If it's not money, like I'm not going to talk to you. Like if I'm not going to gain it, he's just a businessman, do you understand?
yeah, yeah.
If I'm not
Actually,
going
he's
to
a
gain anything
businessman.
from you, like why am I going to be in cahoots? Why am I going to be in what's it called with you?
Yeah,
Like this, for example, that US aid now, US was spending a lot of money to countries for US aid. They were basically giving money to countries, sending their own military to countries. But like there was no need for that. Because how can countries that we are supporting be in a what's it called in an alliance with countries like France and England and all those other countries,
yeah.
but US is the one that is majorly what's it called
Doing,
do you know
yeah.
sending military, sending money, doing all
But at
these
the end of
things.
the day, when you're not calling people that are involved, you not only call
US, you
USA.
call France, you call these big
Yeah,
nations.
G7.
So like US just basically so wait, we're wasting our fucking resources here on those things, so we have to reduce it.
Yeah,
You understand? So that's basically what it was now, and that was they were just basically
yeah.
taking.
Trump is a smart man.
So he's not doing anything to. If you see that the U.S. economy is failing, the reason is because he's trying to. Before you, the truth is before for you to like to get back things, to get things back to where it was, you have to basically like wash away the virus. Okay, for example, now I have clean water,
Yeah,
right? Water is clean, oh, but then someone now comes and pours sand inside my water.
yeah.
Where do you think the sand will go?
To the bottom.
To the bottom. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the up will be somehow clean, oh,
But the
but
bottom,
the
yeah.
bottom is
So that's
dirty.
what
So that's what Trump is trying to
Trump is
do.
just
Trump
trying
just
to
basically
just.
trying to clear everything away and create a better what's it called?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so you
Wow.
just have to understand that
Like, I think like what I learned the most from this thing, that everything you said, was the fact that nations, our economy actually needs us to be poor,
yes.
which is why I will not be poor. Like, fucking hell, guys, guy.
So
This session was actually very, very, very interesting. I swear.
yeah. So like basically from the idea of Mansa Musa, basically that's what economy just basically came about, and then
Yeah.
regulations. Basically, people saw that thing and was like, guys, we need to start regulating things, you know, and economy basically came about, and
Um, wow. I actually learned a lot. I
yeah,
actually learned a lot. Thank you so much, Tony.
yeah,
This is it for episode 22, right? If you whatever you learned, whatever questions you have, right, just let us know on the comment section. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.